Most home buyers that I talk to, they're hoping for a good deal. I mean, very rarely is money simply not a concern for someone. Even buyers with budgets well over $1 million still want to feel like they're making good use of their money in a home purchase and will vocally make it known when they think a seller's listing price is unrealistic. So that begs the question, if you're looking for a good deal on your next home purchase, where do you find it? What are the clues out there in all of the home listings that show the eagle-eyed buyer or real estate agent that a home is primed for the picking, that a deal is waiting to be had? Hi, Emily Farber here, your favorite Iowa YouTubing realtor. I make videos all about real estate and Iowa, so if that interests you, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe so you don't miss out. Also, if you're thinking about buying or selling anywhere in the greater Iowa City area, reach out to me. I would love to help you. You know, every once in a while I run into somebody who says something like, "Oh my God, you're Emily, the real estate agent from YouTube. I watched like all of your videos. They were so helpful. I even moved to town a few months ago and we bought a house." Wait, what? You watched all of my videos, you found my content helpful, and you bought a house, but I don't know who you are. So that means that you didn't contact me. That's sad for both of us. Help me help you by giving me a chance to be the best real estate agent you ever met. And the way it works is you have to reach out to me and then we have a conversation either over the phone, Zoom, or, we could be crazy and actually meet in person for coffee or something. I don't bite, I'm not scary, and I would love the opportunity to earn your business. Okay, back to the topic at hand. First, you need to think about what a deal actually means to you. Are you trying to buy a home under market value, which means you want to buy it for less than it's actually worth? Do you want a home with excellent long-term appreciation, which means it's likely to appreciate at a rate faster than other homes in the area? Do you want to buy a home without pressure and competition from other buyers, which means you need time and space to make your decision and you absolutely loathe the idea of competing against other buyers? How do you sift through all of the homes out there that are for sale to find your good deal? Let's talk about it. Okay, this one applies no matter what kind of deal you're looking for. The one thing that you cannot change about a home is the location. So if you can get into the location you want, you've won half the battle. What I want you to do is give a second chance to all of the homes in your dream neighborhoods that have been sitting and racking up days on market. I'm talking 30 days, 60 days, or longer. I know your initial response to these houses may be, ew, what's wrong with them? The answer is, who knows? Maybe nothing. Time is really one of your greatest weapons when you're looking for a deal. Sometimes the seller's timing to get their house listed was just bad and the market is slow. That's unfortunate for the seller, but it works in your favor. Sometimes the house doesn't show well because it's too cluttered or it's dirty. You know what will be gone once the seller has moved out? All the clutter. Sometimes homes are being held back by terrible marketing. Look for the listings with those horrible photos, laugh at how bad they are, and then go schedule yourself to see it in person. Sometimes houses are dated with old flooring, mismatched appliances, out of style, brassy light fixtures, or whatever. All of the stuff that makes it feel like a tired old granny house, not the move-in ready Instagram looking picture house that you had hoped for. But that's the thing. All of those dated items, they're still livable. Pretty? No. Livable while you work your way through them? Yes. So go on and schedule yourself a showing at the houses that have been sitting and sitting on the market and give them a chance. Chances are these homes are the low-hanging fruit when it comes to less competition and a higher likelihood of being able to negotiate the price down. Look for the houses that are vacant. If you can find options that have both high days on market and are vacant, then you're cooking. Look, nobody likes a house to just sit empty. It's a money hole. It's a liability. It's a sign that the seller of the home may be feeling a pinch point or pressure. Now, it's not a sure thing that the seller is carrying double mortgages and feeling the pressure in that way, but by the time somebody has moved out and left a home just sitting empty, there's a pretty good chance that they have moved on, literally and figuratively, and would like to close this chapter of their life. Also, the house could be vacant because it's an estate, and this is one of the last steps of the person who is closing out the estate. Whatever the case, the probability of a vacant house being negotiable on price is higher than many other types of properties. Look for homes that have been under contract and are now back on market. This is every seller's worst nightmare. Deals fall apart for a variety of reasons, and it's not always because of catastrophic home inspection findings. Buyers get cold feet. Buyer financing falls through. Sometimes buyers overreact to normal, mundane issues that come up on home inspections. And yes, sometimes big things do come up on inspections. Buyers and sellers might get a little big for their britches, and deals fall apart. When a house comes back on the market, the seller is put in a bad position because almost every future potential buyer is going to approach it by wanting to know what's wrong with it, even if it is no fault of the house. But say it is the fault of the house. Maybe the roof is at the end of its life, or the list of things to address on the home inspection was just too much for the buyer to stomach. Almost everything and anything can be dealt with and fixed, and chances are much better that a seller is going to be reasonable in dealing with it or adjust the price to address it in order to move forward the second time around. This one falls right in line with what I've been talking about, but look for properties that have taken price reductions. This indicates that a seller is motivated. Now, I wouldn't necessarily get too distracted by what the current price is, because they may have started at a completely unrealistic number, and it might actually still be unrealistic, but the important thing is to take note of the fact that the seller is motivated and moving the price in the right direction. Take a look at the home, and if you like it, have your agent do a comparative market analysis on it, and then make your offer based on those numbers. In fact, it would be a great idea if you sent that CMA over with your offer to show the seller why you are offering the number that you are. Cold, hard data speaks volumes, so let it work for you. Be flexible on your terms. It's not always only about the offer price. Ask questions to truly understand what the seller needs in order to move on. Do they want a quick closing? A long closing? Do they need a rent back? Which means you own the property so they can have access to their equity, but you allow them to stay beyond closing for a determined amount of time. Are they looking for somebody who will take on their chickens or outdoor cats? Are they looking for an as-is offer? Is there a way to make that work for both parties? Remember, negotiations are not just about price. It's the whole picture. Quit refreshing Zillow and start looking for off-market and quiet opportunities. Not all homes for sale hit the open market. Agents network with other agents, and deals happen behind the scenes all the time. So work with a well-connected agent who can bring you some of these off-market opportunities. For instance, I recently sold a home that was not in good shape at all, and the seller was not interested in having the world know what her house looked like. I was able to offer this house to some buyers I knew who could handle the projects. Part of the negotiation was the seller's option to leave anything behind in the property that she didn't want to move with her, and there was a lot. Then the buyers would clean out the house on their own accord after closing, which meant a lower price than if the seller cleared it out herself and listed it on the open market. It sold behind the scenes, and both parties got what they considered to be a good deal. The seller sold the home as is and walked away from an overwhelming amount of stuff that was burdening her, and the buyers got a low price on a house in a prime location because they agreed to tackle this clear out project. Another way to find quiet opportunities is to let people who live in your target area know what you are trying to find and encourage them to reach out to you if they know of anything. That nosy neighbor just might bring you an opportunity. Check out the for sale by owner listings online and also look for little sale signs by owners in their yards. Some for sale by owners have no idea how small the pond is that they're fishing for a buyer in. I once bought a house because I saw a sign in the yard. It wasn't online, it wasn't even in the newspaper. The only way anybody would have known this house was for sale is if they drove by on the street and saw this little 2-foot high sign in the yard. I painted the interior, I hired someone to refinish the hardwood floors, then I had it back on the market a month later and I made a tidy profit. Be mindful of the time of year that you're home shopping. If you want to pay the least amount of money possible for a home and have the lowest amount of competition from other buyers, you need to be willing to buy a home when almost nobody else wants to buy a home. And this time of year is going to be specific to your market. But here in Iowa, the low point of buyer activity runs from about mid-November to mid-January, basically over the holiday season. If you go back and you track past sold data, you'll see that sold prices dip during this time. Be an early adopter. Sometimes the key to getting a good deal is to be one of the first people on the scene. Instead of focusing your attention on neighborhoods that already get all the love, figure out where the next big places are going to be. Watch for municipal infrastructure improvements, new employers, and new developments. Where are they building new schools? And look for areas of spillover from already hot neighborhoods. And lastly, remember that in real estate, time is of the essence. Be prepared to act on that good deal when the opportunity arises. Have your financing locked in. Be clear on what you want and have enough market knowledge that you are confident in your decisions. Have an established relationship with an agent who you trust to guide you. Sometimes the good deals are available for the person who is in the right place at the right time, so it is important that you are ready to act. What are your tips for finding and getting good deals in real estate? Tell me about it down in the comments. Hey, it's been fun, and I'll catch you later.